Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is doing fantastic. Donna is having some technology issues, so we are going to go ahead and jump into it, and then hopefully she is able to jump on with us. So this should still be showing up on Donna's page, probably not on my page yet. Let me see if I can go share it real fast, and then we will get into it. All right, shared to my page. So here we go. So today we are talking about what you should watch out for or things you should know before signing up for an affiliate marketing contract. So often we don't really go through and read the fine print, including details like the commission structure, cookie durations, allowed promotional methods, prohibited practices, which is a big one, and disclosure requirements. And all of these can really make or break if you make money with a program, because if you do break any of the obligations, or if you are promoting it in a way that is not allowed within the parameters of the program, then you could be banned. You can have your access taken away, all kinds of stuff. So the first thing I would say look into before signing up for an affiliate marketing contract is, of course, the commission structure, right? So you want to look into, is it a percentage or is it a flat fee? Because understanding that can really help you understand how much money you're likely to bring in. And then, is it a recurring commission? No, recurring commissions are great because you get it coming in every month. But so it's super important to see if you get paid once or if you're going to receive that on a recurring basis, like subscriptions. A lot of technology and software as a service stuff like that will have a monthly commission versus just a flat fee. And then cookie duration is a big one. This one affected my affiliate commission a lot with one of my coffee companies I would promote. Make sure the cookies, you know how long they last, so that you know when people use your link, how long they have to buy. And this can help with, if you have friends who are using your links and whatnot, you can tell them. Longer cookie duration, of course, enhances your chance of earning a commission. But you should really pay attention to things like that. The second one to really look out for is the payment terms. So you want to know how you're getting paid, want to know how often, when, etc. So is there a payment schedule? Know how often the payments are going to get made to you. Is it weekly? Is it monthly? Is it after you reach a minimum threshold? And on some of them, if there is a minimum threshold, then if you don't reach that within a certain amount of time, they will start docking what you've already made, because it's basically considered an inactive fee. So really pay attention to that. I know ClickBank does that specifically. I'm not sure about individualized affiliate programs. And then minimum payout, ensure you're aware of minimum payout requirements, what happens if you don't hit it, which is exactly what we just talked about. And then again, methods, right? So is it a bank transfer? Is it a PayPal transfer? Are there any fees that are going to go along with it that maybe make you want to choose one method over the other? These are all super important things to look out for. And then usually as well, this will come with some kind of tax documentation. So, but not always, right? So some people will have you go ahead and fill out a W-9 or a 1099, something like that. Some won't. So pay attention to that, because for some of them, it's going to be on you to report it to your taxes. So make sure you're tracking all of that as well. And then, of course, refunds, returns, and chargebacks. Like, you want to know what the policy is for if somebody buys with your link and then returns it. Are you still going to make a small percentage of what you would have made? Are they going to take it all back? A lot of them will do a net 30 or a net 60 payout specifically to protect affiliates from this, so they're not getting paid and then being demanded money back. So net 30 and net 60 programs, while they might sound detrimental, can actually be very beneficial for you. Because again, then if you're having a lot of people try it for a month and then cancel, you're not actually losing the physical money out of your bank account because it never hit your account. And you can see that kind of stuff on your affiliate dashboard typically. So the dashboard they use is also super important to look into. So yeah, be aware of deduction policies or cooling off periods. Again, net 30, net 60. Don't be frustrated by those. Those are there to protect you. Exclusivity clause. So this is important if you're in, let's say, the health and fitness circle, or It's not really prevalent in like the education platforms from what I've seen, but there might be a clause that, if you promote Nike, you can't promote Adidas. Or if you promote, I know Amazon does it with their KDP too, where if you use their specific advert agency through KDP, you're not allowed to advertise or offer your digital product, your digital book anywhere else. So pay attention to stuff like that. You want to make sure that if you're promoting, it also keeps you from confusing your audience, right? So if you're promoting all kinds of fitness brands, it's kind of hard to know which one's actually good because you're promoting all of them. So be really cognizant of that. A lot of affiliate marketers very early on will just go and sign up for everything they can, regardless of if it aligns with what they're doing and regardless of if it is kind of overwhelming. So you want to make sure you're watching out for that. But yeah, so make sure there's no clauses that restrict you from promoting similar products or services or other companies within the same niche. Compliance and disclosure, of course, is always huge. Legal compliance, especially in the online space, they're going to start really cracking down on it just because we've had so many people abusing it and making false promises and things like that. So understanding that even though you're an affiliate of this program, you still have a legal obligation to ensure that, one, the contract guidelines are followed, but two, you're disclosing properly, right? So you're disclosing that it's an affiliate link and you're likely to make a commission if a sale is purchased on it. But also if it's a make money online course, that you're, putting the disclaimer of like, I'm not guaranteeing you're going to get rich. Or if it's a weight loss product, right? Results vary. All of these disclosures that we have in place to make sure that you are legally not over promising something that the program or the product just can't do. And then of course, marketing restrictions. So are there restrictions on how you can promote the product? So can you do paid ads or not? Can you only do it on certain marketing channels? TikTok is really well known for this. With you can't just drop an affiliate link in your bio. They will shut you down so fast. You have to make sure that you're doing it into your own website, your own funnel or something like that. So make sure before you just go spamming your affiliate links everywhere that you understand the restrictions that are on them. And a lot of programs will give you email swipes or creatives to use, things like that, just to help you stay within the restrictions. Another thing to look out for is the intellectual property and branding, right? So again, you are not the owner typically, at all for an affiliate marketing theme. So you want to make sure that you're using the right logos and trademarks. Understand that your brand's logo can't go on top of it unless it's a white label. You have to make sure that you are advertising the brand and not just you. And so understanding just to leave those in place instead of trying to make it look like it's your product, unless they've given you the green light to white label. Super important that you follow that. And then again, content ownership, right? If you're using content from them, from their swipe files or anything like that, be clear, especially for like videos, reels, things like that. Be clear about who owns the rights to the content. You see this a lot with faceless channels where they'll grab reels from other people's profiles, but it's within the same niche and theme of what they talk about on the channel. They always give credit where it's due, or if they don't know who to give credit to, they'll say that in the description. It's super important because like for the content creator themselves, if they're talking about making money online on their own channel, and then somebody who has a faceless channel all about how to make money online repurposes that, it might not offend them, it might not upset them, but it's still good at all times to give proper credit where credit is due, because the faceless channel has not created this video, right? They're just repurposing it to fit their narrative. So super important just that you give that, or even ask for permission. Or if you've reached out to somebody to be an affiliate and said, hey, can you make videos about my product? And then, am I going to be able to use that content down the line? Like that should all be within a contract there as well. We'll get into UGC in a little bit. And then termination clauses, right? Is there termination without cause into it? Like some contracts do allow the company to just terminate the contract and then payouts after termination. Ensure you understand what happens with those pending commissions, because sometimes you will absolutely lose them and sometimes they'll still pay them out. One of the things that can lead to this too is if a company has to restructure themselves. So this happened not too long ago within the online space. I'm not going to go into too many details or name any programs, but there was a program that got into a little bit of trouble. Hey, Donna. Awesome. Looking forward to having you pop in. There's a program that got into a little bit of trouble, and so they had to go through and basically restructure their affiliate agreements and some of their program and whatnot. And when they did that, everybody lost access, and so everybody had to reapply. And so, that can happen, and that is kind of the danger of promoting someone else's, in this case, program. You don't really see it too much with product, but programs and things like that, or even softwares. So make sure that you're paying attention. They will usually send out a email saying, hey, we've had to do this. Can you go reapply or something like that? Like, they're usually pretty transparent, and will send out communication when something in their agreement changes or something within their program has changed. But so keep an eye out for those emails. Make sure if you are part of an affiliate program, you're not, you've whitelisted the emails that everything comes from. You're not just marking it as spam or just deleting them without reading them or something like that. Super important to stay on top of changes. And then UGC, right? So UGC is a great,
Hi there. I had to go on my phone because my system is just not
doing it today.
Nope, it's being a total pain in the ass.
Well, I mean, it is Friday the 13th, so.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know where we're at, so I'm just going to listen to you for a minute until things get sorted out.
All right, no worries. So UGC content, right? There's usually a contract in place. If you've been reached out to by a company, or if you're the person reaching out, you want to have it in the contract of where and how and for how long you can repurpose that content, because even though they are making content around your product, it's still their content, right? So it needs to be very clear within the contract of, do you own the rights to that content that talks about your product? Do you own the rights for limited time? Can you use that video to, maybe run ads? Like, that all needs to be structured in there and be paying attention for it. Because if that's not in there, then, you as the person doing the video, you have every right to ask about it, just to keep both sides happy and clear, because you don't want it used down the road for an ad, and maybe you didn't ever want your content used that way, but you never had that conversation. So fine print, big deal.
Yeah, it's the fine print is where a lot of people just get bored, right? They just want to jump in and do and get excited and all that fun stuff, and then they don't pay attention to those things, those necessary little things. Like, I mean, I've read some stuff where I'm like, yeah, no, I'm actually not good with that. And like, I did catch some of where you were talking about some limitations, especially like like being able to do cross promotion and stuff like that. And there are, like KDP, like you say, even some of their putting you in markets. Like if you're doing ebooks and you want to put yourself into a bigger market with them or get better royalties, all of a sudden you can't utilize that anymore. I know that I've pulled back ebooks that I've created for other authors, simply because I wanted to make sure that they could advertise or put their books on Barnes and Noble and other places. Yes, they're getting less royalties for that, but at the same time, it allows them to be more expansive. And so, yeah, you don't want to get caught in that kind of stuff. And yes, the terms and conditions are boring, but at the same time, it's really important. I mean, just like you say, how they utilize your content, whether you actually have, full control over that or not. Because, like the lottery winners, they have to give up the rights to their face. And it's like, I don't know, man.
Well, and some of them are super aggressive too, right? So some of them have like a posting schedule where they expect you to post about it, 5 times a day for 3 weeks or something like that. Like, I'm making that one up as I go, But I know some of them are really aggressive and their expectations are really high. And so you have to kind of watch out for that if you're not willing to talk about it nonstop for the next, 3 months or whatever. Like make sure that there's not some kind of caveat in there of you need to talk about it this much, this many times. And like sometimes they give you scripts, which is fine. But again, you don't want to be like just sounding like you're basically just an advertiser for them.
And I think that also goes for the refund policies, right? Like, I mean, a lot of these will have a refund policy where you can have the option to like say this isn't working or I've changed my mind, but just like the contract to get into it, you also have to read that part that says whether or not within 30 days you can say nah and what requirements you have to fulfill in order to make that happen too. So,
Yeah.
okay. I don't have, I'm going to have to continue to let you lead until this gets sorted out. I'm
I
really
gotcha.
aggravated at the moment. So,
So actual steps that you can take is exactly what Donna was just talking about, right? Read the contract top to bottom, all of these fine print. Don't just skim it over.
yeah.
And
And I
if there
mean,
is, oh, go ahead.
oh, go ahead. There may be areas that are more pertinent to you, but read it all.
Mm-hmm. And then flag anything that's confusing, right? If something doesn't feel right, doesn't seem right, you don't like the way it's worded, mark it for later so you can ask for clarification before you fully commit.
Yeah. It's just asking questions is a good thing. And I mean, there's a lot of information online, so you can maybe get some of that information online, but also don't feel bad about asking questions from the person who's trying to onboard you, because maybe they didn't read their contract, and so they can bump you up, or maybe you're going to have a question that needs some clarification. And it'll also give you a good idea of how much the person who's promoting their product actually values their product and you as a part of that product, or service or whatever it is. But because if they're just going to say, well, no, man, you just got to give me it all. Like, no, just sign. No,
Mm-hmm.
never just sign
Exactly.
anything.
And then look into the company's reputation too, right? Like I'm not a read reviews and feedback kind of person, but they're there for a reason. So, check the reviews, or if you know of other affiliates who are maybe promoting the program, reach out to them and see what their opinion is, or just look at their stuff and see if it's solid or if it seems kind of sketch.
I'm 100% a reviews person. I want to know before I jump into anything. I want to see all the what it is, what different the reviews are. And now I know that online a lot of those reviews are going to be biased towards the product. So I am quite happy to dig a little deeper and dig a little deeper. I will go to page 3, thank you very much, on Google to find my information, because I know that the promoted stuff or the SEO stuff will show up at the top, but the real information might be a little further on down the line. And if you're getting your reviews like from someplace like Trustpilot, click and look at the low reviews. Like, don't just say, oh, it's got like a 4.5 positive review. Click on the low reviews and see what the negatives actually are being said about this. Because you might see that, oh, these are very personal. Like, I didn't like the person that was doing it, or I didn't like having to do this. Well, that's just part of the process, right? So
Yeah.
those reviews might not count, but it's better to know what those lower reviews are, just to see if it's something that's going to work for you, because maybe they're going to have, maybe those problems are ones that you would personally have in that type of a program. So
For sure. And then compare it with other affiliate programs within the same niche, right? So make sure the terms are fair by seeing how they stack up against other similar programs.
yep, and that's simply just looking at their pay structures, like you said earlier, how they pay out, how many people are involved, all that kind of stuff. Like, and ask, because there's going to be people who are, say, in LM, right? And then they're also, they've looked at the Jonathan Montoya, and they've looked at maybe one other one that's very similar, and talk to some people. They all have groups that are available to answer questions and stuff like that. And you can talk to people who have tried all the different ones and said, you know what? Yeah, I prefer this one over that one, and this is why.
Hmm.
Lets you get a better idea of what's going to work for you.
Yeah, and check YouTube channels too, right? So I know every program I've been through, I've done a YouTube review on about like what I liked and what I didn't like, and the same thing. I've been through multiple the programs and whatnot, so there's multiple reviews out there.
But that's good, right? Because that means that you're paying attention to what, like you're paying attention to what the different programs offer and what actually works for you, and also recognizing and providing that information for other people who want to take a look at it, right? Because
Yeah,
that's very helpful for those of us who like to deep dive into stuff.
yeah. And then consider legal advice, right? If it seems overly complicated and it's a lot of jargon that you just don't understand, maybe talk to a legal pro.
Yeah, because I mean, you you're not going to know everything, right? So getting a little help is always a good idea. And like I said earlier, ask ask the manager if it doesn't make sense. Ask if you're not sure about something. Ask if maybe, and that might even come down to asking on whether or not there is room for adjustment for your
Hmm.
particular situation, right? Because maybe they are flexible in certain areas and they're not, depending on who you are and what you're bringing to the table. So,
For sure. Yeah, sometimes you can negotiate tweaking terms that you don't like, and especially if you have a proven track record of being successful in the affiliate marketing space.
yeah. And then of course, make sure it fits you and
Yes.
what your goals and your strategies are, right? Because if it's like, oh, you got to send out 500 friend requests and that's just absolutely not on your game plan, then that's not going to be something that works for you. Or maybe it's something where you have to do the 5 videos a day kind of thing, or that it's very video heavy and that's not for you, or it's very blog heavy and that's not for you. You've got to make sure that it jives with who you are and how you plan to market your business. So,
Yeah. And then track it independently, right? Like I think that's what gets a lot of people in trouble is they're not actually tracking it. And then not saying that any of the companies are out there to screw you over intentionally, but you should be tracking your own earnings and whatnot, and being able to reach out and be like, hey, what's going on with this? Like I know that I had this many sales for this many people I talked to, but I'm only seeing this many, what's happening? And that's where keeping records is important as well. So save everything, emails, communications about the program, which we talked about before, reward emails, like everything just in case.
yeah, you got to keep those receipts, man. You always have to keep the receipts. And the other thing
Yeah.
too is like when you're tracking your performance, um, that also comes into how their cookies perform, right?
Mhm.
Are they, do they hold their cookies or is it just last in? Right. And so you might have worked really hard to get somebody into something and then they just happen to click somebody else's link. And then so it's good to know that because maybe that's just not going to, unless, you're somebody who likes to swoop in because there are those, they're the ones that swoop in and do that, which those people are not very nice.
No, no, they're not.
But it is a business model that people do. So, keeping track of that will help you know whether or not that modality of last in is going to work for you or not, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you're just somebody who does a lot of nurturing, and so that's not the right modality for you.
Yeah. And pay really close attention. I mean, most programs you are not allowed to use your affiliate link to purchase something because then you're getting the cash back, right? So that is a good way to get removed from a program. Now, there was one program, one product that I was an affiliate for that like I had to keep using my own affiliate link to make sure it was working because if anybody else used it, I wasn't getting credit. But when I used it, I got the credit. So I ended up kind of accidentally breaking the rules in like trying to test it, and I still didn't figure out why it wasn't working for anybody else. But
Well, that's
I didn't.
terrible.
I didn't get kicked out. I just made money back off of a product I purchased anyway, so I wasn't too upset.
Thank you so much for handling this for me today, Rose. You're amazing. I'm
No
sorry that I'm
worries.
just popping in at the last second because that sucks balls, but whatever.
I mean, let's face it, if I didn't talk as fast as I do, I'd probably like would not have been as far as I am. But I tend to get straight to the point and talk very quickly. So
That's all right. I think everybody understood and was able to keep track. And if not, you can always drop the questions in the bottom. Um, I mean, the bottom line basically is you need to focus, like Rose went through. Like, I'm just going to quickly run through. So, your commission structure, your payment terms, your returns, refunds, chargebacks, how that's going to be handled, exclusivity clauses, compliance, because that's huge, and disclosure. Make sure you're telling people that you're making money because, yeah, that's a good way to get in trouble. Your intellectual property, termination clauses, how you're going to get paid out. And the other thing, where was it that I was thinking that I wanted to pop in there? Um, it depends on also, like, your rules are going to be different whether you're a service based or a product based. So make sure that, like, just be like, say you've constantly been on the online digital side of things and it's service based and you've never had to deal with physical products and you've decided to go to the other side. Make sure you pay attention because the rules are going to be a little different. And so, just because you've done this before doesn't mean that the rules are the same on the other side and vice versa, right? So just make sure that you're constantly being and keep updated because rules change.
yeah.
Right. So I know I get new rules and terms and conditions from like various different places all the time. And it's like now I got to read this again.
Yep.
Yeah. And so, yeah, make sure you're focusing on your high quality programs, because you
Yes.
can grab uh, ClickBank and ShareASale have tons of different ones if you're like going that route. But not all programs and not all products are created equally. So just make sure that you're doing your reviews, checking to make sure that you're dealing with a reputable. Because if they're not reputable, you're going to end up being not reputable. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Unless you're doing it faceless, right? If you're doing like a faceless weight loss one and you're just recommending every weight loss product on ClickBank, it probably doesn't matter. But there's also a reason that some of the affiliate programs require you to apply to be an affiliate and some of them don't. So
Hmm.
typically if there's an application progress or process, it's usually because they're a little bit higher up.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it depends. Some of the application processes obviously are for their benefit, making sure that you've got enough traction or whatnot to really sell their product. But traction isn't necessarily the best thing. Like it's not the be all and end all. You can still be a newbie. So if you're having trouble finding or getting into something that you really want to because you don't have the audience yet, don't let that deter you. Maybe just again, check out the reviews and see if maybe there's a competitor that's got some equal value, but doesn't have quite as stringent hoops for you to be able to join up. So,
Yeah.
anyway,
I
you've
know.
done
I'm
amazing.
still I'm
Thank
still
you.
waiting to be able to announce my newest one. I'm still waiting on stuff to come in for it.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for you. You're just taking off, my girl. Taking off.
I hope
Taking
so.
off. So I think that you've pretty much handled this for this week. You've done an amazing job. And again, I appreciate you 100%.
I will say this did not go out on your Instagram because I didn't have all
That's
the
okay.
details.
Whatever. It doesn't matter. It's not like it's always used. It's just an additional option that I like to send it on. So um, for next week, you have access to the document. I don't, but
I
I popped
do.
something in there that I thought might be a good idea for conversation.
Oh, yes. There's actually caveats off of something I was talking about earlier in this episode, and that's online/affiliate marketing and PLR or private label rights. Should you use it, and where does it come into play?
Yeah, because we're seeing a lot of MMR and PLR programs popping up. And so I thought that that might be a good place to put some effort and some focus on. So there we
Yeah,
go.
I think a lot of people are still a little bit confused about what they are. So I think it'd be good to clarify that and then go
Yep.
from there.
Yes, yes. So,
Love it.
any rate, thank you everyone for joining Rose mostly, and then me for my, few little snippets of blah blah blah. And if you have any questions, as always, we like it if you drop them in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please hit that like button and that share button. And as always, if you subscribe, that really helps us, really helps our channel get seen, and share this information with more people who are on their online marketing journey. So,
Yes. And if you have a particular Friday the 13th ritual that you do, drop in the comments because I want to
ooh,
know.
yes, yes. I love Friday the 13th. I think it's fabulous. Actually, two of some of like my favorite people that were born on Friday the 13th. So, yes. And
Nice. My sister got married on Friday the 13th.
so there you go. See, people think it's a bad, but it's not. It's actually not at all. It's great. It's good stuff. You don't have to be afraid of the number 13. All right, everybody. Have a great Friday, and we look forward to seeing you next week. And hopefully, I'll have my poop in a group then.